How's it going, everybody? Swood here, and today I'm bringing you one of the strongest decks I feel in the meta. It's this Xbow Rocket Tornado deck. I was using it a couple months ago to get the 20 win challenge. I made a video on that and I strongly recommend you guys check that out after this video. It's one of the most popular videos on this channel with this exact deck, so I'll put that in the description. Make sure to check that out after this video. So this is the deck. It's Xbow Rocket with Tornado. It has the Ice Wizard Tornado, which is really strong. So I'm just going to go over a lot of different matchups and sort of how you play them. Firstly, before we get into that, if you're playing against like a Goblin Hut or a Furnace, you want to be playing a defensive Xbow early on. You want to play it in the middle just to snipe it out, and then once they pick a lane, you're going to be wanting to play your Xbow on the opposite lane so that they can't poison. I'll show you quickly in a friendly battle here. So once you get your Xbow, so say it's this side, like if they have this tower low, you want to play your Xbow on this lane so that they can't poison your Xbow and the tower together. So as you can see here, it's all the way in the corner. Go 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles up. So that's the first placement, or you can play it 3 tiles up and 1 over. So either of those placements. So when you see me play my Xbow like this, it's so that they can't poison the Xbow and the left tower. So I just want to quickly explain that, and obviously it works the same in the other way. Just go all the way to the corner, go up 4 tiles. So that's the first thing. If you're playing against a Goblin Hut or a Furnace, you start it in the middle, and then they're going to poison with either tower, but you don't want to start doing it on the side like that because it's easier to attack with troops until they've decided which lane they want to attack on. Once they decide which lane they want to attack on, then you can play it on the opposite lane. So that's for the defensive Xbows. Play it in the middle if it's against like a Goblin Hut or a Furnace early on, but later on, as you guys saw also in the Sus Cup recap video that I did 2 days ago, I believe, you'll see me play this Xbow Rocket deck in 2 of the 3 games, and I sort of analyze how to play it, so make sure you check those out also. So I'm going to go over a bunch of different matches just to get you a lot of different situations. I'm not really showing full matches per se, but I'm just going to be showing helpful situations. For generally how to play the deck, I'm going to show it in the other 2 videos. So I mean, the philosophy is that if they have a weaker deck, you can get through with Xbows, but if not, you want to be getting good value with your Ice Wizard Tornado. Against all those spam decks with the Skeleton Barrel, Goblin Gang, you get really good Ice Wizard Tornado value. Or against other decks, you're going to get good Xbow value on defensive Xbows, and then you're able to rocket cycle people out. So either of those, or you just play Xbows at the bridge. It depends on the matchup, so we'll go over a couple. So to start out, always start an Ice Spirit. If you don't have an Ice Spirit, wait, play like a Ice Golem, Mega Minion, or Ice Wizard at the back. All of them are good. So he plays a Goblin Hut in the back early on. Normally you should play your first Goblin Hut or 2 in the middle, and then you would, as an Xbow player, defensive Xbow it. But because they're playing a Goblin Hut so far back, this is the equivalent of someone playing a Pump. So for this reason, I just Xbow on the opposite lane to try to quote-unquote punish the Goblin Hut. You can see he's mad. He plays a Peck. I'm just going to speed through this quickly. And so the end result, we're just going to quickly watch until about 1:30 on how well this Goblin Hut does for him. And I was playing in class, so not all my plays were optimal. Alright, so there we go. We can pause it. So we're a minute and a half in, and that's how well the Goblin Hut treated him. As you can see, his tower's at 700 and mine are at 1900, so I'm not going to finish out that match because it's fairly easy after that, but you don't want to be playing your Goblin Huts if you're playing against Xbow so far back early on, or also not just Xbow, but like they could Mega Knight at the bridge or something along those lines, Giant at the bridge, so you don't really want to be playing your Goblin Huts like that early on until you know what they have. So if they play Goblin Hut really far back, try to punish them in the opposite lane. I also did that in my pro match against Matt, I believe it was. That was in the video 2 days ago about the Sus Cup, so watch that. And in this one, this is like the Mega Knight ZAP bait deck, but instead of Mega Knight, he has Prince, and then he also has Goblin Hut Poison. So it's a similar deck. So here I'm going to try to activate my Tornado with a Royal Ghost. There is a way to do it. It's the same tile for the Tornado, but the Royal Ghost has to be on the inside of the bridge. This is considered the same as a pig push from a hog. Obviously, it's not like you're pushing the Royal Ghost, but if it's played on the inside in the middle where like a Tesla would be played or whatever, and then you can tornado with no hits. But if it's played on the outside of the bridge, then you're not able. You have to get a hit. So this one's gonna get one hit because it was played on like the outside of the bridge. So you can see here, you tornado. It's the second tile up on the king tower, but it's like the first row that's closest to the middle. Sort of confusing, but you can see it there visually. So I got one hit, but watch for later in this video. I'm going to show how to do it with no hits at all. So just start out. We're just playing slow. You never really want an Xbow early on at the bridge. See, we'll get an Xbow. The reason I played it to the right was because he already was committing stuff to the left. Looking back, I probably should have just played in the middle, but it doesn't really matter that much. So I take down that Goblin Hut. So I'm looking at the wrong screen here. I got multiple screens up. And we just play an Ice Golem in the back. And we're just stacking up here. So we're able to rocket out the Inferno Dragon. Anytime you get an Inferno Dragon or a 4-elixir card for a rocket, it's generally good value. Because half this deck isn't just playing Xbows at the bridge, but it's playing defensive Xbows and rocket cycling your opponent out. So if you're able to get 430 damage for a 2-elixir loss, that's really good. So here we just Xbow, he Goblin Huts on defense, and we defend that Royal Ghost. Able to get some good damage there, and the tornado actually brought the skeletons to the Ice Golem, which was pretty weird, but we'll take it. So you see here, I play it on the opposite lane. On the right lane, it's 4 tiles up, like I showed. He poisons the opposite tower, which is not good for him. So basically, he's just poisoning the Xbow, rocket another Inferno Dragon. And I was actually in class when I was playing this one, and I had to switch from my iPad to my phone mid-class because we were about to start a quiz, and I didn't want to be playing on my iPad as the quiz was starting. So I was sort of speeding through this, not really paying attention. So this part right here, don't really keep track of that. I was sort of just spamming stuff while I was trying to switch devices and stuff. But in the end, we do get to rocket cycle them out. We'll just wait quickly. There we go. So next up, we got another P.E.K.K.A. Goblin Hut deck. Sort of weird, this one doesn't have Miner, but it's sort of a ZAP bait. I'm not biggest fan of the deck, but I just wanted to show a few key things. I apologize for my English. As Mike G would say, I cannot English. So here we're going to get a nice Ice Wizard Tornado. As I said, the ZAP bait decks give you lots of great value for that. Right away, I was thinking he had the regular Mega Knight Inferno Dragon ZAP bait, so I didn't think he had a big spell, so I played my Xbow in the middle because I wasn't worried about poison on either lane. I also still play in the middle even if he has poison because I don't want to put it on a specific side because he might poison that tower. Playing in the middle is the best if you're not worried about one tower or the other. Since both my towers are the same HP, it's not a big deal. So he plays an Xbow here, or a P.E.K.K.A. here, my bad, and we just defend it. Get an Xbow off. And we don't get through on this Xbow, but there's one key point that I was waiting to show you guys. I believe it's right here. No, I am wrong. I apologize for that, guys. Oh, I know what the key point of this one was. So this one, I don't actually play offensive Xbows. I just cycle them out with rockets, defensive Xbows on the opposite lane. So I was just trying to emphasize the point of the defensive Xbow and how strong it is. A lot of people underestimate this, and I haven't seen a lot of pros doing this defensive Xbow that I'm doing. You see there, he was forced to poison on the left, and he was forced to miss my Xbow. The reason for that rocket really far back, if you're wondering, was I was expecting him to play a Goblin Hut, but he didn't have it in hand, but I had to rocket anyways, and I wasn't keeping track of cycle because I was busy in class. So I was just rocketing back there on the off chance that he does play it. So you're going to see here I get a lot of value with my defensive Xbow and also with Ice Wizard Tornado, and that's able to allow me to keep rocketing, hit troops if possible, but even just rocket on tower for no damage, or for no troop, is still a viable strategy. So another Xbow. And you can kite the P.E.K.K.A. if you don't have another troop. If you have like an Ice Wizard, the P.E.K.K.A. will drag to the Ice Wizard. But if you're able to kite just the P.E.K.K.A. with an Ice Golem, that's really good. And see here, we do another rocket. He was going to play his Goblin Hut, but he didn't because we rocketed. If we would have waited a second, we could have got it. And then here, we're just going to have to defensive Xbow again, log the double Goblin Hut. If there's ever 2 Goblin Huts in a row, logging them is worth it, especially if you hit the Spear Goblins that are already spawned. And again, just Ice Wizard Tornado is getting insane value. And it's going to allow us to rocket cycle out. So that is the power of rocketing out like a real man. Make sure you don't forget about that and just try to get through with Xbows. Some of these matchups, I don't even play an Xbow at the bridge ever. I just rock it out. Was I going to show this one? We'll check through this one quickly. I believe I was going to show this one, but I'm not 100% sure. So Ice Spear at the start. And then we'll probably play an Ice Wizard or wait for him. Yeah, so we Ice Wizard. I played my Ice Wizard there on the left corner because most people play their Miner there because it's harder tornado. Not impossible. It is not a safe spot, but it is harder to tornado if they play it in the corner spot. A lot of people believe that you're not able to, or that you are, you're safe from the tornado. Sorry for my stuttering of words, but they think they're safe from the tornado if they play it in the corner spot. That is not true. You can still tornado it to your king tower. That will be coming up. That will be coming in an upcoming video, but we're still gonna just try to show it through regular gameplay. But he played it lower down because he's not really familiar with tornado and stuff. So I tornadoed that easily, and Ice Wizard cleaned up the bats. So here, this is what I want to show. A regular Mega Knight ZAP bait matchup. You would never play your Xbow at the bridge. You would sort of just rocket cycle out, rocket the Inferno Dragons, sometimes Skeleton Barrels if you're getting desperate. But he played his Mega Knight at the back. He didn't really understand the matchup. Same with the Miner, you can tell this guy's not as good of a player. So I'm just going to try to show the difference between what a pro would do in this match and what someone who's not as familiar with the deck or how to play against Xbow. So he played his Miner lower down, so it was easy to get tornadoed. And then he played cycled his Mega Knight, so I was able to get a really good Xbow off on the other lane. As you can see here, I get his tower down like over halfway, which is basically I already won this matchup. Notice how I played that Ice Golem super low down. The Mega Knight did not jump, and it also let the King Tower shoot at it. So that was really key. And this game is already basically wrapped up. We're going to stop here, but normally in a Mega Knight ZAP bait matchup, it should be a lot closer. You shouldn't be playing Xbows at the bridge because you know that they're going to have a Mega Knight in response. So it's just bad on him to cycle his Mega Knight. I wanted to show that off. And this is Jake's the Graveyard Furnace deck. This is Jake's deck. Sir Take CR. He's a YouTuber, pro player for Nova. He's been using, or he made this deck in early 2017. I believe it was like January or February, so almost a year or over a year ago now. So this deck hasn't really been super popular since then. I actually thought it was Xbow at the start of the match, so I'm sort of playing it as if it's an Xbow Firewall versus Xbow Rocket matchup. But he plays a Furnace, which is odd, so I defensive Xbow it just in the middle. He can poison either tower if he wants, and he poisons the right side. So if I was trying to be really stingy, I could Xbow on the left tower because the right tower has like down by like 80 HP, by 84 actually from a log. So here we're just cycling against the Graveyard deck. Remember, if you've been watching my Xbow Rocket matchups, you will notice that I always try to activate King Tower. So you're going to want to play a tank on the Graveyard. You're going to want a tornado and to the King Tower, which I will try here, but it doesn't work, but it's still the same fundamental. And then you're going to want like an Ice Spirit or a log to do it afterwards. This is how I was able to win. I believe 2 of my matches in the Sus Cup was because I had the tornado and they were playing Graveyard, so I just got an advantage of I could activate my King Tower and I basically won the match just like that. So knowing how to do that is insanely strong. People didn't really realize how to do this until a couple months ago. So here you're going to see I'm playing all my troops on the right hand side instead of the full, like all the way behind the King Tower, because behind the King Tower is like, it takes like an extra second, so people try to play them there, but I was trying to play it on the right hand side because I knew I had a feeling that he had Graveyard, just because I recognized this deck from a year ago, and I was playing them on that side in case he Graveyarded, so I'd be able to tornado, and I'd still have a tank in that area. So let's just cycle here, taking down his troops. Try to get an Xbow through. He furnaces, poison logs. We do get some damage off, not a insane amount. We Ice Spirit, and then here again we're still playing all our troops on the right hand side, just because we believe it's Graveyard. He hasn't shown another win condition. He has a Furnace. He has the Archer's Knight, which is staple of the deck. Here we rock it out just because it's a Graveyard deck. We want him to go in for a Graveyard so that we can tornado it. And watch this Ice Spirit and then log to kill these archers. Ice Spirit jumps across the river and log takes him out. So that was really cool. I also hit the Furnace, which was awesome. And I believe I Xbow here just because his Furnace is already low. I got some supporting troops still. He's low on Elixir, so we're able to lock on with that. And I believe he Graveyards right here. So I didn't do this tornado perfectly. If I Looking back, I should play my Ice Wizard in the graveyard right here, which I do. I'd play it one tile up. Actually, I misplaced that. And then I would Tornado to the King Tower. The Tornado spot is on that little path. You play it on the path. If you play it any lower, it takes the skeletons too long to get down there and they die from the Tornado. Because the Tornado ticks half the skeleton's HP every half a second. So you need to get the skeletons to the tower and hit the tower before the full second. So you can see I Tornado, that's the spot. You can even go left one, like inside the tower one on the path, either or I've tried above, but not as much success. So I'd say on the path where I just did it right there, or even one tile farther inside. Don't go lower down. So you can see we almost get one, but it dies before it gets there. It sort of just depends on the RNG of the graveyard spawns. You can see there's about 6 tiles on the outside from the graveyard. Basically, you need one of those to spawn at the perfect time for it to drag over and activate. So it's 6 out of 16 spawning. So you have like probably a 25-50% chance that you're going to activate the King Tower like this. Doesn't always work, but that's why you make sure you have a tank and a log afterwards so that you're not taking a ton of damage. So I tanked, I tornadoed, and then I log afterwards. Overall, not a ton of damage. If I would have activated King Tower in a pro matchup, that would have just won me the matchup. But so we take the tower, we take the match. So I just wanted to show that graveyard or the tornado attempt to activate the King Tower. And the last 2 matches against the P.E.K.K.A. Ram deck. This is one of those matchups where you're just going to want to rocket cycle out. You're not going to want to play Xbows at the bridge because you're not going to be able to get through a P.E.K.K.A. and a Battle Ram and a Flying Machine. So this is, I believe, the one where I activate King Tower with the Royal Ghost without taking any hits. So make sure you watch this. So we just start out, I believe, an Ice Golem. And then we play an Ice Wizard. And we rocket out this Flying Machine. 4 elixir card, good damage. And how you want to play against the P.E.K.K.A. Ram deck, if you are able to play your Mega Minion in response to the Battle Ram every time, that's awesome. It takes out the Battle Ram before it charges on your tower. Ice Wizard does not. You have to pair the Ice Wizard with something like a Tornado, a Log, or an Ice Spirit, so it's not that good against the Battle Ram. You want to be using your Mega Minion if possible. So we do good here. We get the Ice Spirit on all 3 of them, and then we play an Ice Golem to tank here. And we Tornado. That one actually didn't work. This next match, my bad. But we still defend that fairly well, and we're just going to try to rocket cycle him out in this matchup. He takes damage on both sides, probably smart. Keep his elixir lead. He also has a deck with ZAP and Logs. This is to try to beat out all those Mega Knight ZAP bait decks. So he plays his P.E.K.K.A. at the back. Big mistake. This is the same as the Mega Knight player that played his Mega Knight at the back. You don't want to be playing your tank, especially if they're playing an Xbow deck all the way at the back. It leaves it very open for the other person to punish on the opposite lane, which is exactly what we do. And as you can see, we basically take down that tower. I think we do take it down. Yeah, so we do take down that tower. He tries to make a nice push here, but overall we're able to defend it fairly easily. I'll just defend that quickly. And then there you go. The game's already over here. I end up taking a second tower, so just showing don't play your P.E.K.K.A. behind the tower. Or if you're playing against someone who does that, make sure to punish it. So the last match where I lose, I end up overcommitting, but I just wanted to show how to activate the King Tower without taking any damage from a Royal Ghost. So you see here, I play an Ice Golem, he plays a Royal Ghost. In a normal situation, I would play my Ice Wizard or Mega Minion into the Royal Ghost, but I was trying to get this King Tower activation for you guys, so I ended up playing an Ice Wizard and then an Xbow after on the left lane, just so I could make sure he didn't commit with the Royal Ghost and I could Tornado it. So, like I said earlier in the video, he played the Royal Ghost on the inside of the bridge, so it's going to be able to Tornado over. It's not quote-unquote pushed, but if you played it on the outside of the bridge, the right-hand side for this example, I wouldn't be able to do it with no hits. So you can see here, it's the middle row on the King Tower. It's 2 tiles up, and you try to do it as soon as the Royal Ghost is walking into the Tornado range. So hover your Tornado there and watch for when he's walking down, and when he's just in the range, you Tornado. I'll put this in half speed. As you can see, he does not hit the tower at all, and he changes direction and activates King Tower. So that's pretty insane. I normally don't Xbow this early on. Like I said, I try to emphasize that I only did this so that I could activate the King Tower with that Royal Ghost. If the Royal Ghost was not there, I wouldn't have done it. But in the end, it still works out. We kill this P.E.K.K.A. and the game resets. We're up 1 elixir. We activate King Tower, and we're down a poison damage worth of damage on my left tower. So not a big deal. I'm not going to show the rest of this, but I rocket. Basically, what happened, why I lost, is I rocketed this Royal Ghost. It was too early on to start rocket cycling out. I wanted to get into a better situation. He's able to overwhelm me with the flying machine because I don't have a great counter to the flying machine. So that's why I end up losing this one. But you sort of wait a bit. Once you're able to get defensive Xbows up and you force them to pick a lane, then you can start rocket cycling out. So I did that a little too early. That's why I lost that one. But remember, guys, this is a really strong deck. I recommend you guys try it out, and also check out those 2 other videos. I'll share both of them in the description. The 20 wins with this deck, how I go over multiple matchups, and then I also did the Sus Cup 2 days ago, so I'll share that. I play this deck 2 of my 3 matches. Again, it's an insanely strong deck, and that's why I kept on playing it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this deck. Let me know if you try it out and how you have success with it. If you have any troubles with certain matchups, let me know. The only deck that I'm really uncomfortable playing is like a Giant Prince, or not even Giant Prince, but Giant Cannon card, because Cannon card does so well. The only person that's played that against me when I played this deck was Tally, the guy that got top 4 in CCGS World Finals. So I've only played it against him, that matchup, but it's not one I want to be playing ever. I'm able to beat decks like Cannon card Graveyard, Giant Prince on occasion, a Golem deck. So, I mean, and of course all the other decks that aren't as strong against Xbow. So it's an insanely strong deck. I recommend you guys try it out. The rocket cycle is real with it. It's not always an Xbow deck. You have 2 win conditions. You have Xbows and you have rockets. So make sure you use both of them, not just one. Hope you guys enjoy this. Have a good day.